Prompt 1. If I were to create my own social justice based dance company, I'd focus on racial equality, cultural representation, and mental health awareness. I think dance can say things that words can't. It lets people feel emotions they might not fully understand until they see them expressed physically. My goal would be to create performances that tell stories of people who've been ignored or misunderstood, especially in marginalized communities. I want audiences to walk away not just entertained, but thinking about these messages behind the movement. This issue matters to me because I've seen how easily people's voices can be silenced, and I believe art has the power to make people listen differently. Dance can create empathy because when someone sees pain, joy, or hope through motion, they connect with it on a human level. That's what I want my company to do: inspire, educate, and remind people that change starts with awareness. Prompt 2. Katherine Dunham and Pearl Primus are considered legends because they completely redefined what dance could be, not just physically, but intellectually and socially. Katherine Dunham was a pioneer in combining anthropology with dance. She studied movement in the Caribbean and in Africa, and then built the Dunham technique, which basically was blending traditional African and Caribbean styles with ballet and modern dance. She wasn't just performing, she was preserving culture and proving that black dance have depth, structure, and history. Pearl Primus, on the other hand, was raw emotion and strength. Her movements were powerful, athletic, and deeply human. She tackled serious topics like racism and oppression. Her piece, Strange Fruit, still gives people chills today because of how she used her body to portray the horror and pains of lynching. Both women challenged stereotypes, fought for equality, and paved the way for future artists like Alvin Ailey and Judith Jamison. Their legacies remind me that dance is more than art. It's a voice for truth. Prompt 3. One dance that stayed with me the most had to be Pearl Primus' Strange Fruit. Watching her perform, you could just feel the pain and urgency in her movements. The way she jumped, twisted, collapsed onto the floor. It wasn't just like choreography, it was a cry for justice. It made me uncomfortable a little bit, but in the best way, because it forced me to face the emotions tied to that history that she was telling. Hearing the dance historians talk about how daring her performance was for its time made me realize how actually brave she really was. She wasn't just performing, she was risking her career to confront racial violence through art and tell a story. I felt this mix of sadness and admiration. Sadness because of what the piece represents, but admiration at the same time for her courage to tell that story through movement. It showed me how dance can communicate pain and truth more powerfully than words ever could. Prompt 4. Black culture definitely has shaped modern dance, from its rhythm and movement to storytelling and emotion. The roots of African traditions definitely had evolved through generations into something uniquely African American. You can see how these influences made modern dance more expressive and more connected to real human experiences. Choreographers like Dunham and Primus brought the sense of soul and authenticity into their work. They made dance about community, resilience, and identity. I think that's what's really special about this influence, is how it opened up modern dance to feelings or improvisation and culture pride. Without black culture, I believe modern dance wouldn't have the same depth or emotion that it has today. Prompt 5. The black or African aesthetic in dances is about rhythm, spirit, and connection. For example, connection to the earth, connection to the music, and the story being told. You can see it in how dancers use grounded movements, isolation, and rhythm to express emotion. There's a kind of honesty to it. The movements come from deep within rather than just focusing on technique or perfection. You can see those same influences in today's dance style, like hip hop, Afrobeat, and contemporary works that emphasize freedom and individuality. Even in pop culture, the sense of rhythm, storytelling, and community still comes from African roots. To me, the black aesthetic is about dancing with purpose, and every movement means something. It's all about expressing the soul. Prom 6. After watching all three films, I walked away with a whole new appreciation for what African American dancers contributed to art and culture. Before this, I knew dance could be emotional, but I didn't really realize how deeply connected it was to history and identity. Seeing how Katherine Dunham and Pearl Primus blended activism with creativity made me realize how fearless they were. They didn't just want applause, or they weren't just doing this for show. They wanted change. They wanted something to come out of these performances they were doing. These films made me see dance as more of a language, one that can tell stories of struggle, pride, and freedom. It's inspiring to see how much power there is in movement and how these dances used it to speak for generations of people. Watching them made me feel grateful and proud that their influence continues to live on today in all kinds of dance.